What was the first Flipkart item that you ordered even when you were not working with Flipkart?
Actually, I ordered a furniture from Northeast.
What was the last item that you ordered on Flipkart?
A couple of days back, my son has ordered a PlayStation.
And what was the last item you returned on Flipkart?
I did not return any item so far.
So, what are exactly the potential benefits that today's MSMEs are drawing from e-com giants that you think are remarkable shift from or a paradigm shift from what it was 10 years back at least?
These are very large issues which are almost like existential in nature. Digital ecosystem or a technology can actually make sure that you are able to have best in technological resources.
As we start our new journey covering the big brands across the country, joining me today on this show is none other than the Chief Corporate Officer of Flipkart, Mr. Rajneesh Kumar. Welcome to this show, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you,
It's been a pleasure knowing you all these years, whether having a ringside view of your own personal journey or that of the Flipkart in the last 5 or 6 years or so. First of all, many congratulations to the kind of progress the organization has seen, whether we look at the ramparts of the Hindi hinterland to the hinterlands of Uttar Pradesh to Madhya Pradesh to as far as Northeast. I actually want to understand that celebrating the MSME week, what are the big takeaways that you would want to share with us first up in the last 2 years or so?
First of all, thank you so much, Rohan, for having me here. It is a privilege to be speaking to you. On MSME, I think you are familiar. MSME is really the lifeblood of the country's growth, right?
Ji.
It contributes 50% of the export of the country, on almost like over 30% of the GDP, and
Right.
almost a very big contributor in terms of the jobs.
Right.
So it's absolutely, as we call, the agriculture is the backbone of the country. Then MSME is the what provide wings to the growth of the country.
Ji.
So this ecosystem is extremely important. And if I can talk about e-commerce for us, primarily in Flipkart, last couple of years, especially in the COVID time, the MSME coming on the platform to have a broader market access has
Right.
been tremendous opportunity and growth that we have seen.
Correct.
60 or 70% business of us comes from tier 2 and tier 3 town, and that's where also the suppliers,
Right.
the sellers as we call them,
Right.
are also coming from these places.
Right.
And most of them, are small businesses.
Right.
So the opportunity which is available for MSME today in this era of technology is outstanding and huge.
Correct.
And that's why our effort also is to make sure, not just from us, if you look at the initiative which government has taken to
Right.
support small businesses and MSMEs in the country,
Right.
plus what digital platform like us are bringing to the play is absolutely outstanding.
Right.
So we are confident that the future for MSMEs is very bright because efforts across public and private sectors are huge.
One of the questions which intrigues me at this part of the juncture of India's journey towards whether it is able to achieve the GDP target which the Prime Minister has set for this country is when I had a conversation with the MSME Minister a couple of weeks back, he also told me that MSME sector is itself going to contribute to 50% of India's economy towards the target which we are. How realistic do you feel these targets are going to be, considering Flipkart is also fueling the growth of India's economy on its own, like the way you talked about the tier 2 and tier 3 city. So, which are the cities you feel will contribute to this, and also how confident you feel contributing to India's growth story as well?
That's a very good question, Rohan. See, today we are over 30% of GDP, right?
Right.
And if you just look at what MSME sector is, M is micro, small, S is small, and M is medium. Out of them, micro is the biggest component. Over 95% of that is actually micro businesses.
Right.
So we have to be very careful about looking at what MSME really means. So a lot of these micro businesses are the one which need access not just to the capital but market, and that's where opportunity is very large, and that's what we are actually seeing on the platform. So I won't be surprised if we actually exceed that target as well.
Right.
So with all enablement that is coming from all around, both from the government as you have spoken about,
Right.
how Prime Minister Modi has actually taken a lot of initiative to support small businesses in the country. And if you add digital transformation that's happening and their ability to get market access, and by the way, technology not just lead to the better market access, it also helps you become more efficient and more visible. And if you're more visible, you have better access or visibility to the financial sector. So your ability to transform yourself become very large. And that's what we are seeing. And that's what makes me very confident that that day is not very far where potentially will exceed
50% as
50%
well.
or more. Yeah.
Right. So you talked about, I mean, of course, focus on the 90%, the micro industry as well. So my question to you is that are there any particular cities which have given you a lot of boost and have given you more hopes than the others, and also those cities which have lagged behind where digital transformation is still improving in the next few years?
So I'll nuance this response in a couple of ways. One, if you look at the consumption side of it, so one of the work that we did as a company was to make sure that consumers are able to access e-commerce or digital markets in their own languages.
Right.
If everything is in English, then the consumer funnel is not very large. Today, because of the technology investment that we have done, almost every major language is available on the platform. Someone who doesn't even understand in the hinterland, English, he or she is actually able to go on the platform, access the product, not just by the way language, but also voice. So one important piece is getting consumption going, or letting consumers get into the funnel.
Right.
And second is, how do you bring in those underserved community from a seller perspective into the platform?
Correct.
And that's what is actually happening.
Right.
I'll probably talk a little bit about our initiative called Samarth here.
Sure.
Samarth is aimed at getting Indian heritage like handicraft, weavers,
Right.
women entrepreneurs, rural enterprises, self-help groups into the funnel from a seller side.
Right.
So we help them train, we help them discover the products, the consumer market, and bring them on board.
Right.
And we create on our app,
Right.
you will see a dedicated storefront for them.
Right.
So bringing that visibility to the products which the underserved community bring in,
Correct.
and getting more consumers into the play.
Right.
What platform does best? And
Absolutely.
I think I feel very proud in saying that we have been able to achieve a very good growth both on the consumption side and seller side, and
Right.
enabling it through technology and transforming this whole digital transformation, as we call Digital India. I
Right.
think is something which we see tremendously, and that is the section which is what we call the micro section of the
Right.
community, or MSMEs.
Right.
So that makes me very hopeful
Absolutely.
that this opportunity is becoming bigger and bigger.
Right. No, in fact, I mean, at this juncture, I also want to inform you that we at the New Indian have also deputed our young reporters across the country who have fanned across the country and brought lovely stories of e-commerce giants doing very well. And some of the stories also included on Flipkart as well, where we sent our reporters, and from Uttarakhand hills to that in Assam in tea gardens to as far as Chhattisgarh's tribal areas as well. The self-help groups which you have talked about, these are enormous stories. And as a matter of fact, I want to actually ask you this question, that is there also a budget which you have earmarked for this to help with the state governments, where you can tie up with the state government? Because I remember very vividly, last year you made a visit to Uttar Pradesh, where you had a conversation with the UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath as well, and subsequently with Mr. Dhami as well. So what are the big takeaways that you have, and the budget that you have earmarked for the SHGs?
A very good question. Previously I was talking about how both on consumption side and on seller side, we have been able to sort of democratize the access to the platform.
Right.
What is really happening out there is that not just consumption, including the tier 2 and tier 3 town. I'll give you a small example. Grocery, we run a marketplace business where we bring in smaller food businesses into the platform.
Right.
And consumer-led consumer access. Before the health pandemic hit the country, we were in 8 or 9 cities. Today we are in 1900 cities. Imagine the consumption trend, buying grocery online by the people in Lucknow, Ahmedabad, is becoming very, very prominent. So you see the action that's happening on the e-commerce front, both on the seller side as well as consumption side.
Right.
So you will see typically most states growing both on consumption side and states.
Right.
Surat, for example, Gujarat is one of the biggest seller hubs for us. Surat is one sort of center which provides the most saris that are sold on the platform, and we are the biggest sari seller on the platform in the country today. Imagine. So there are clusters which are very large,
Right.
and similarly there are on consumption side, there are, I think, predominantly tier 2 and tier 3 town are becoming quite active on that frontier. Your questions about fund, I think what we do, because this is what our mission is, democratizing commerce in India. This is the core that we do.
Right.
For core I think we can't keep a budget. Core is what we have to do. So we have to make sure that whatever needs to be done
Right.
to bring these smaller businesses into the marketplace, into the digital market ecosystem, we do
Right.
whatever is possible to be done.
Right.
And additionally, I'll probably give you an example. Last year I was in Banaras talking to a lot of these underserved communities, like artisans who are making, those gulabi meenakari. Such outstanding work that's happening in the country, and when we sort of give them the opportunity to sort of bring their products into a larger digital ecosystem, I think the ability of digital markets to transform the lives at the ground is outstanding. And it was eye-opening for me once you sort of go down and not just be in a top tier cities, but go down to hinterland, go down to tier 2, tier 3 city and see the impact which e-commerce is creating. You yourself was talking about impact story from Uttarakhand and other places and in the hills.
Right.
So the transformation that is being brought out
Right.
both on economic frontier as well as the social transformation. I don't know whether you've been to our facility in Assam. There's a grocery warehouse completely run by women of the state, women in that region, in Guwahati. Every single person who is leading that or working there is actually a woman. Transformational impact which is happening on social side as well. So I
Right.
think that's it's very heartening for us that it's a transformation not just economic but social as well.
But do you think that lack of infrastructure or access to poor infrastructure or access to good infrastructure is also a challenge to the MSME? For example, let's say Flipkart's robust supply chain, which we talk about, you play the role of bringing sellers, customers, and the kirana shops together as well. When I say infrastructure, I mean it could be as bad as a road connecting these the two entities as well, or it can be lack of airports or lack of trains as well, for that matter as well, or lack of power supplies. I mean, these challenges also come into the MSME sectors as well, because after all, like you said, the cities that you talked about, which have where you saw the growth stories, for many years there was no electricity. The ghats of Varanasi were not clean, or for that matter, Surat, I mean itself, Gujarat is a success story for everyone to see in the last 20 years or so. So is that also a big challenge when a major e-com player like you enter into these cities?
So Rohan, as I mentioned earlier, I think when you build, we have been at this for 15 years now, right, as a company. Infrastructure challenges are very real, right, and not just for e-commerce but for everyone.
Correct.
For small businesses particularly. So early on, when we thought about what are the ways in which we can enable the smaller business community to get online or become part of the digital ecosystem, most of our investment, as I mentioned, went to technology and physical infrastructure. So basically, digital infrastructure and physical infrastructure. And if you have these two very powerful ones,
Right.
then you can actually sort of leap over the obstacle that we have.
Right.
And one of the work that we do, and I'll give you an sort of a bit of a layer out here. Today, we run probably the biggest supply chain in India. As a company, we can pick up from every single pin code in the country. So if you are, as a small seller, located in a remotest part of, say, Tamil Nadu or
Right.
remotest part of Arunachal, we will be able to pick it up from your place. So as a seller, you don't have that hindrance or obstacle of saying, how do I access the market? How do I make sure my product, which I'm making in, say, Nagaland or Arunachal, someone sitting in Delhi or Bombay can access it? Today as a company, Flipkart has that capability of picking it up from every single pin code in the country. And we can deliver it also to every single pin code in India. That's the prowess that we have from physical infrastructure. Okay.
We can say the same about the delivery as well.
Delivery happened much before. So up till 3 years back, we could pick up only from 40% of the pin code, but we could deliver every single pin code. Today, on both side of consumption as well as selling side, we are able to pick it up from every single seller, first mile. We can deliver it to every single pin code in the country, including in the hills. So today, small businesses, any small business, whether it's a Gulabi Meenakari person, artisan sitting in Banaras, or somebody making a bamboo furniture in Nagaland, can actually register themselves on Flipkart in 10 minutes, okay, and they are ready for products delivery to any pin code in India. Okay. That's what we have been able to bring in, and that's what digital transformation to me look like.
Excellent. So what are exactly the potential benefits that today's MSMEs are drawing from e-com giants that you think are remarkable shift from, or a paradigm shift from what it was 10 years back at least?
See, when you look at the challenges and the benefits, so essentially you need to look at what are the challenges they face in today's world. It's important to understand what consumer want, right? That's one important one. So are you in tune with that consumer want? Second, do you have infrastructure to access the pan-India market, right? Do you have right manpower, right? Are you skilling them better? Because the country, the world is whole changing using technology. So these are very large issues which are almost like existential in nature. So if to make sure that you are able to take advantage of this, for example, what technology can change today from a technology can actually not just bring you market access. I am sitting in a remote corner of the country where my establishment is there. I want to access the market. Digital markets can actually make you that whole market available to you.
Right.
Digital ecosystem or a technology can actually make sure that you are able to have best in technological resources. Companies like us, we do a lot of scaling for small businesses. Such as we actually organize training programs for them. What are the ways in which, not just from a regulatory environment perspective, what is that they need to do to become market access. For example, do you need GST? If you are a small business, if you want to sell across the country, you do. So we not just train them in making them, but also make it happen for them. Just work with them to make sure that work with the state governments to bring them all together.
If I'm an entry-level MSME operator, what are the immediate benefits that I can draw from Flipkart at the moment? I mean, whether I'm operating from a big state or a small state.
Yeah.
Immediate benefits that I can draw, is it that the line of credit that Flipkart can facilitate for me, or is it also the physical infrastructure needs which I need immediately to ensure my deliveries are on time?
Absolutely. So beyond insights of consumer, what consumer want, beyond the physical infrastructure, obviously we want to make sure that you have to have a partner who can ensure your products are picked up from a place and delivered to where consumer want. Today we bring from a supply chain perspective our ability to pick it up from any part of the country and deliver to any part of the country. Right. Similarly, we have partnership with banking institutions where we make sure, because the sellers and the small MSMEs work with us.
Can you elaborate what are these partnerships and what do they do?
So for example, if a small MSME is working with us and is a seller on a platform, through our partnership with the banking institution, they can actually get the working capital requirement fulfilled or investment for the growth at a much attractive rates.
Right.
Because these are long-standing partnership we have with the banking institutions. So this is one clear advantage for them.
Right.
But not just that. I think key is you have to look at every level of their journey of MSME, a facility and a service, and a training program is available for them. We have a dedicated team. We almost like a account management system where we actually help the sellers on board, understand what is needed to become part of the digital market, help on the credit line, make sure that depending on where consumers are buying the products, they get those insights to them. They have a dashboard access to them, so which tells them where is my product selling, what is consumer telling me about the product, what do I need to do feedback, what does it market look like a year from now on. So I need to invest in today to make sure I am ready for consumer at that time. These all facilities actually make the MSME business or a seller smarter in managing or engaging with the consumers and also taking advantage of the market opportunity.
Tell me, if I as a journalist want to be a seller on Flipkart, how soon can I do that? Let's say how long will it take, from a week, 10 days to a month, if I want to be a seller on Flipkart?
You forgot minutes actually. We do it in 10 minutes. So if you have...
I can be a seller on your platform in 10 minutes?
Yeah, we have made it so easy.
If I want a credit line of, let's say, about 10 lakh rupees.
So I think it obviously depends on what business you are in, and so based on what is needed, and typically I've seen businesses that come on the platform, they already have a product, and they want to scale it up. So I think that, and because there's a market for it, and our teams will be able to bring that insights, supports to you. So what does the market look like? For example, if you are producing something, say this product, right? What does the market look like, in which region? The team will be able to support with those initiatives and that information, and you are good to go.
Excellent. मैं आपसे कुछ एक ये भी चीज़ समझना चाहता हूँ कि जो हमारे पोटेंशियल कंज्यूमर्स होते हैं, जब वो फ्लिपकार्ट की ऐप पे आते हैं, खासकर ये जो सीज़न चल रहा है गर्मी का, क्योंकि गर्मी बड़ी दुरुस्त पड़ी हुई है, 45 डिग्री से नीचे नहीं आ रहा। तो जब भी आपकी MSME को लेके हम बात करते हैं, तो कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल गुड्स हों, चाहे वो रेफ्रिजरेटर्स हों, टेलीविज़न सेट्स हों, ACs हों, गर्मी की बात करी, तो कितना आज की डेट में एम्पावर्ड फील करता है कंज्यूमर जब वो फ्लिपकार्ट के ऊपर आए रादर देन कि वो रिटेल आउटलेट पे जाए।
तो फ्लिपकार्ट जो मार्केट प्लेस है वो कंट्री के जितने भी MSMEs हैं या बाकी सेलर्स हैं, चाहे छोटे या बड़े, उन सबको एक प्लेटफॉर्म देता है कि आप जैसे कंज्यूमर के साथ में अटैच होने का, कंज्यूमर को जो चाहिए प्रोडक्ट देने का। और जैसे डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम बढ़ रहा है, कंटेंट और कनेक्टिविटी पूरे कंट्री में आज अवेलेबल है, हर कोई 4G 5G तक की बातें हो रही हैं आज
जी।
तो उसमें कंज्यूमर के पास ये ऑप्शन है चेक करने का, एक रादर देन गोइंग इन डिफरेंट मार्केट्स, अलग अलग जाके चेक करने का, उसको सारा रिव्यू वहीं पे कर सकता है कि किस प्रोडक्ट में कंज्यूमर क्या कह रहे हैं, बाकी जिन लोगों ने ख़रीदा है उसके बारे में रिव्यू क्या है, जिसने ख़रीदा है वो प्राइसिंग ठीक है, वैल्यू दे रहा है, मिल रही है नहीं मिल रही, तो उसको पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन एक ही जगह सारी अवेलेबल है।
कंपेटिटिव
प्राइसिंग की यहाँ पे प्राइसिंग क्या है। एंड सबसे बड़ी बात इसमें ये है कि ये सब बहुत इंक्लूसिव है। इसमें जो आप जिन सेलर्स की आप बात कर रहे हैं जो मार्केट में ऑफलाइन, वो भी एक्चुअली फ्लिपकार्ट पे बेच रहे हैं। तो आप देखिए, सो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो उनको डेट्रीमेंटल है, ये एक ऐसा इंक्लूसिव इकोसिस्टम है जिसमें एक्रेटिव है, उसमें उनके बिजनेस ऑफलाइन भी ग्रो कर रहा है और ऑनलाइन भी ग्रो कर रहा है। तो उसमें कंज्यूमर के लिए सारे ऑप्शंस, इन्फॉर्मेशन सारी अवेलेबल है, जिससे वो एम्पावर हो जाता है कंज्यूमर ये पता करने के लिए कि मेरी चॉइस सही है या नहीं।
जी।
सो इसलिए सबके लिए फ़ायदेमंद है
जी।
आप ऑनलाइन में। और ये हम देख रहे हैं जिससे हम लोग हिंदी भाषी देशों में, क्षेत्रों में नहीं, बाकी अगर बाकी रीजनल एरिया में जाके देखेंगे तो हमारा जो ज़्यादातर 60-70% ऑफ द बिज़नेस है कंज्यूमर साइड पे भी और सेलर साइड पे भी,
ठीक है,
वो Tier 2 और Tier 3 टाउन से आ रहा है।
अच्छा,
तो इसका मतलब ये है कि क्लियरली हमारे यहाँ से लगभग 450 मिलियन 45 करोड़ कंज्यूमर्स रजिस्टर्ड हैं हमारे यहाँ पे। तो अभी इंडिया ऑब्वियसली इज़ अ कंट्री ऑफ $1 billion+, so we are not yet there, we are making efforts, but I think a lot of consumers are actually trusting us for bringing value to them.
करेक्ट।
आप अगर किसी एक रिमोट लोकेशन पे आप जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे कंज्यूमर के पास बहुत ज़्यादा ऑप्शन नहीं होते हैं खरीदने के।
जी।
तो हमारा सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट हम लोग ने जब फ्लिपकार्ट का जो एवोल्यूशन हुआ है, एक इम्पॉर्टेंट नज़रिया हमारे दिमाग में था कि कैसे जो कंज्यूमर है उसको वैल्यू उपलब्ध कराए दे। वैल्यू मतलब selection also means that availability.
जी।
If a consumer wants to buy something,
राइट,
there should be a different price point, the same product or product category should be available.
जी।
If in a Tier 3, Tier 4 hinterland, for example, someone wants to buy a sari, there may be only 2 shops in that area.
Correct.
But so there are limited
But
sort of
Flipkart
selection.
was provided.
Today, at different price point, different range of sarees are available.
जी।
So value and selection and affordability extremely important for us. So we want to make sure that through this inclusive e-commerce ecosystem, we are able to bring everything to work. And by the way, when I say everything, it means kiranas also, because the last mile delivery is actually done, will largely be done by a kirana partner. 30% of our deliveries, 30%, we do almost several million deliveries, 120 million I think in a month. 30% of them,
That's a
over
huge
30% is done by kiranas. So the kiranas, the disposable income that they earn through working with us as a partner
जी।
is actually a very substantial one, and we continue to improve on it. We continue to get that number 30% I mentioned is continuously growing.
Right.
So we are very excited with this inclusive partnership that we have brought in.
Correct. So we'll wrap up this interview with a surprise quick fire question for you. What was the first Flipkart item that you ordered even when you were not working with Flipkart?
Actually, I ordered a furniture from Northeast. It was before I joined Flipkart.
And how much did it cost in?
It cost me $6,000. It's the bamboo furniture.
What was the last item that you ordered on Flipkart?
A couple of days back, my son has ordered a PlayStation.
And what was the last item you returned on Flipkart?
I did not return any item so far.
Excellent. So on this beautiful note, we will wrap up this interview. Many more success to you individually and also to the Flipkart's journey in this country. And we hope that it continues to live the dream of every young and old Indian who has empowered himself to use your app and also to become a seller, and the kind of stories which we at New Indian have brought from every tiny corner of this country. It was pleasure having this conversation. Thank you so much.